Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Exotic Wine Travel. I'm your host, Matthew Horkey. So, we're talking today about Graševina. What is Graševina? Some people might know it actually as Welsh Riesling. They think it's from Austria, although here in eastern Croatia, northeastern Croatia, they think that it could have originated here or it's a completely separate, different grape. But regardless of the fact, it is the most planted grape in Croatia. Very old school Eastern European grape. Kind of has the reputation of being a poor man's grape or making really insipid, really crappy wines. They use high yields and stuff like that. But I think it's a grape with a lot of potential, and we're going to talk about, and we're going to taste a few today. So, the reason that I think it's so great, Shireen's not as high on it as I am, but one thing that I like about it is it can be made into extremely crisp, fresh, dry wines, savory white wines with a little bit of oxidation. It can be made into semi-sweet, semi-dry, medium dry, fully sweet, and then full-out dessert wines that are botrytized, because in Austria they use it a lot because it's actually susceptible to the fungus botrytis. So it really makes a gamut of wines. We even tasted a few sparkling wines out of Graševina. So let's get into this, shall we? First, we're going to taste from more of a traditional, local type of Graševina. This is the box wine. That's right. We're not allowed to show. We're not afraid to show some box wine on the show. This is the Vina Belje Graševina kvalitetno from 2015. This is 3 liters of wine in the box. Very inexpensive, typical way to actually consume a lot of Graševina. Vina Belje is one of the biggest producers in continental Croatia, and they're near the Danube River. So let's give this a try here. So we had this. We just had this around the house just to show you that we're not afraid. We're not too snobbish. We're not afraid to try some box wines, and for the show. So first of all, this is a very typical Graševina-esque color. I don't know the best way to describe this, Shireen. It's pretty golden, right? Correct?
Graševina can have a lot of color.
Yeah, it can have quite a bit of color. Almost oxidative in style. Now, this is kvalitetno. This is kind of their basic. This is basic wine just to be consumed with food, with simple types of food. So let's give this a smell here. Very typical Graševina-esque notes. For me, it's more like cantaloupe, a little bit of green apple, citrus, and just a touch of honey. Anything else that you want to add on this kind of basic Graševina?
I don't remember, but is there pineapple in this one? Usually Graševina would have pineapple.
Graševina can have some pineapple sometimes, and sometimes you pick up basil, right? Correct?
The well-made Graševina would have a lot of mineral notes and also basil, sweet basil.
You know what I like about it? It's acidic. It has some floral notes. It has nice minerality. It has some Riesling-esque meets Viognier meets Sauvignon Blanc qualities. Let's give this a go. It's not like super simple. It's still, like, this is for getting box wine, 3 liters. This is more than pleasant. It's acidic. It has all the notes I talked about in the nose: cantaloupe, green apple, citrus. You're right. A little bit of pineapple, a little bit of honey, a little bit of white flower. It's really not that simple. I mean, this is a big company, and if you're here in Croatia on a holiday, especially on the coast, you want to have something with some fish. This is more than serviceable wine. I think I have this rated at about 3.7 on Vivino. It's really quite pleasant. This has been opened for a while, Shireen, so it's not so bad. Let's move on. Shireen was loving. It's the first time she actually drank out of box wine, and she was loving.
It's a novelty wine for me.
It was novelty. So let's move on. There's a couple wines we're not going to taste. This is a very classic producer. We just visited him a couple days ago. Enjingi. This is the Graševina from 2013. Now, he's a pretty legendary producer here. You see the cool bottle. He is an organic producer, uses natural yeast, makes wines that are a little bit more savory That's the way that I would describe this. A little bit more fuller in body.
He tastes every single wine himself before he releases them.
Yeah, he's producing near 700,000 liters of wine per year and tastes everything. I mean, he's real meticulous. They call him a Nazi over there. I quite like this quite a bit. I had this in the 4-point range when I could taste it. It's empty right now. The next we're going to move on is actually a traditional producer, but a little bit more high-end. This is by the Kutjevo winery. This is the DeGotho Graševina. I love saying Graševina. 2015. Now, Kutjevo is pumping out, I can't remember, millions and millions of liters of wine per year. This is more their high-end wine, high-end Graševina. This was a little bit more crisp, a little bit more modern kind of interpretation of this. It kind of shows the styles that Graševina is capable of. This was very inexpensive. I believe it was, if I'm guessing right, like maybe $7-8 US. Our friend brought it over for Christmas dinner. Real serviceable wine.
Yeah, $10.
Yeah, 10, yeah, something like that. $7 US. So let's move on to a wine we're actually going to taste. We visited this guy in Kutjevo just a few days ago. This is Galić Graševina from 2015. This is more of a modern take on Graševina. And just to go over Graševina one more time, it's grown mostly in the northeastern part of Croatia, the continental part. These three are actually from an region called Kutjevo. This is from a region called Baranja, more near the Danube, where it's a little bit more moist. But the whole continental region is covered in Graševina. Let's give this a taste. First of all, this is a little bit more clear in color, not quite golden. More like a pale lemon color.
Yeah, lemon.
Yep.
Very like lemon.
Now, this is a very modern producer. They use all state-of-the-art equipment. We went in there, all Sigmund Moreau fermenters. The stainless steel inox were impeccable. They were all conical. I mean, they use really high-end stuff here. He's making really modern, really clean wines.
He said it's the same equipment as Rothschild.
Yeah, he uses. So, this is much more floral, even Sauvignon Blanc-esque nose. Peach, stone fruit, other stone fruits. Still a little bit of melon, lots of mineral. And a touch of caramel, even though this didn't see any wood. Let's give this a go. This is extremely crisp. Extremely mineral. Very nice. When I drink this, and I don't even crave seafood that much like Shireen. I want shellfish when I eat this. Very minerally, very acidic. I think this is very nice as well. This is their basic wine. I have it at 3.8, 3.9 maybe tops on Vivino, which means all the wines are pretty darn good. I mean, that's our show on Graševina. It's a grape that maybe doesn't have the best reputation, but I think that's changing as people start to make it in different styles, make it in more modern ways. Some really, really nice wines. I mean, I really enjoyed actually, and I'm not a sweet wine guy, the Bojtritized Graševinas, because they still had a lot of acidity to balance out all the sugar. We tried quite a few of those. Anything else you want to add on Graševina, Shireen?
No, I think you've got everything.
Okay, great. So if you're in Croatia, don't be afraid to try it. So if you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Exotic Wine Travel. I'll see you at the next episode.